Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. I'm Tom Mike. So glad you're here. What do we got going on with the stock market? Well, we're kind of moving sideways, a little volatility, both directions, up and down. I do have a small short position on. Now, a lot of people have written to me telling me what an idiot I am to be shorting the market that's close to a record high. Well, would you rather short the market when it's close to a record low? I don't think so. Anyways, here's the thing. All right. So in a crack up boom, right, where the market just keeps going up like we've been doing for who knows, like 14 years, right? Straight up. There's never been a bear market. Maybe bear markets are illegal now. I don't know, but I'm willing to bet that one's coming again. But when you got a crack up boom, makes everybody a genius, right? Makes everybody a genius. Now, Warren Buffett, that guy's an idiot. He's sitting on like $150 billion in cash. If he had that in the market, he could be a genius like all the other geniuses that think the market's going to go up forever. Now, I don't think it's going to go up forever. I have a small short position on. Now, could it go up more? Absolutely, it could. Market is unpredictable, but we're getting close to a topping pattern, right? And I'm taking a shot to the downside. Now, if you look at the Buffett indicator, that's at 200%. 200%. Normal's 100%. Now, things always revert back to the mean. The market always reverts back to the mean. It's going to come down, according to Warren Buffett, by about 50%. But that's just Warren Buffett, that idiot that's sitting on all the cash. Now, another way they measure the market is with PE ratios, earnings. Now, earnings don't really matter in this market, right? I mean, they don't really matter because the market just keeps going up no matter what the earnings are. Now, okay, now the PE ratio for the S&P 500 is sitting at 29. A year ago, it was at 23, and normal's down here at 16. Now, once again, markets always revert back to the mean. Now, to come back down to a 16 PE ratio, it'd have to drop by at least 40%. That would be a reversion back to the mean. Once again, I have a small short position. I'm taking a shot. I don't know if I'm going to be right or wrong. I don't know the future. I just know that this is a calculated risk for me. The HYG has broken below the 20-day moving average. The HYG is the junk bonds. Junk bonds are coming down. That's usually a leading indicator that the market will follow, that the market will start to come down also. We'll see how this all plays out. Okay, so now what's really going on with it? Well, the markets in general, right? The markets in general, the HYG is junk bonds, right? So if that keeps dropping, it's a problem for the stock market. So eventually the Fed is going to have to come in and buy up the debt market, right? It's going to have to buy up the bond market. It's going to have to buy up the junk bonds. See, it's going to be the printing of money. Now, we're spending a $2 trillion a year deficit. Means we spend more than we take in. Now, right now, all the money we take in taxes, one out of every $4 goes just to pay the interest. So we throw that dollar away, right? So we only have $3 left to spend. That's not enough, right? Not with all the stimulus programs. We print 2 trillion extra dollars, right? Now, okay, so we're propping up the market. And soon we're going to get 50%. 50% of every dollar that comes in taxes, we're going to throw it away on interest payments. That's what's going to happen. So we'll have 50% to spend on the government, 50% goes to interest. Now, the government can't survive right now. So it's going to have to print bigger deficit, 3 trillion, 4 trillion. Now, if you take away the deficits, we could argue that we've been in a recession for a very long time, right? I mean, we have an increase of about 3% in the GDP for the year. That's what keeps us out of the recession. But if you take away the $2 trillion, we'd be down about 3 or 4% on the GDP. So we have this total fake economy, and that's how they keep us out of the recession. We will have to pay for this eventually. There's no such thing as a free lunch. So they create all this money, right? Now, what do they do with the money? Well, look at the jobs report. Fascinating. September jobs report. We created 785,000 government jobs. 785,000 government jobs. I still can't figure out what the government does, but do we really need 785,000 new government jobs. I didn't even know the government had that many jobs, but those are just new for just 1 month. Multiply that out by 12 and you got a horrendous number. Now, it's not sustainable. It's a fake number. Or maybe they did create the jobs because of the election coming. They want that jobs number to look good. So 785,000 jobs. Now, you multiply the numbers out. Let's say we pay each of them $100,000 a year. That is billions and billions and billions of dollars that we really don't need to be spending because we don't have billions and billions and billions of dollars to spend. So we create these government jobs, we spend all this money, and you see there's two types of economy right now. For most people, they're living in a recession already. Some people are already living in the depression. Now, the ones that are closest to the money, the $2 trillion that they put in extra, right? That would be the people that own the assets, people that are in the stock market, push the stock market high, people that own a house, got to keep that house up here, don't want that house to collapse. You see, if they didn't print this money, this whole thing would become crumbling down already. Now, just in the last 3 years, because of this printing of money, right? Because of this printing of money, the last 3 years, cumulative, we've had 21% inflation, right? 21%, just in 3 years, about 7% a year on average, right? And that's a low number. Believe me, it's much higher than that. Right now, they say inflation's down around 3%. You can go on shadow stats and see that we're still well above 8%. But okay, they say we're down here at 3%. But they will admit on their own statistics that we've created 21% inflation for the last 3 years. Okay, well, that's interesting. How much did wages go up for the last 3 years, Tom Mike? Well, wages only went up 7%. So inflation went up 21% according to their numbers. And their numbers, I say probably closer to 40%, but they'll go with 21%. And they say their numbers for how much your wages increase, they want to up that number. Maybe they didn't go up 7%, but they say 7%. These are the Fed's numbers. So the average person has taken a 14% hit, right? 21% inflation, his wages went up only 7%. So he's much worse off than he was 3 years ago. And this is the problem. This is why most people feel that they're in a recession, if not a depression. Now, if you're close to the money, then you got assets, right? If you're close to the money and you got the stock market done nothing but go up, right? If you have gold, right? I have a lot of gold and that's gone up. It's cushioned me, right? It's protected me from what our evil politicians are doing. They're just printing money into oblivion. But who are they hurting? They're hurting the poor people, hurting the middle class, going to knock out the middle class, right? But you got to get some assets. Now, the cheapest asset on the planet, silver. Now, I love this. I got people, they tell me I'm so stupid for shorting the market. This other guy, every time, every comment, every show, he'll put one in this time. How stupid I am to be in gold and silver, that it's just going to crash. It's going to plunge. See, he doesn't understand who's buying the gold. Who's buying the gold right now? It's the central banks. Do they really care what they pay for it? No, they just know they have to get more of it. Who's buying the silver right now? Silver's being bought by Russia. It's being bought by China. Do they care what they have to pay for it? No, they want to get all they can as long as we manipulate it lower. They're taking physical delivery. They're stockpiling because they know that the United States is going to get hurt by this, right? Okay, so anyways, I do not think gold and silver is going to plunge. Now, I will agree with them that we are in an overbought situation. We're overbought in gold, overbought in silver. They're up about 40% for the year, right? They've led the stock market higher. Stock market's underperforming gold, underperforming silver, underperforming the miners. Even the miners have gotten too high. They're starting to come in a little bit, so we might get a little pullback. Nothing goes straight up, but this is going to be much higher a year from now. Why do I say that? Because we're going to continue to print money. You want to be in these assets. On a pullback, you want to get more. Now, I don't like paying $2,900 for 1 ounce of gold. I'd much rather, I just paying $1,900 a year ago. Now I'm paying $2,900. Why is that? Why is that? Well, we weaponized the system, right? We've weaponized the currency, right? We kicked the Russians out of the SWIFT system. SWIFT is a settlement system, right? And we've stolen $300 billion worth of their assets. And we think this is fine, right? Well, it's fine, right? What's happened? Well, we've weaponized the currency. We got the reserve currency. We weaponize it. Stupidest thing. Well, one of the most stupid things this administration has ever done, but that's one of the most stupid things they've ever done. Weaponize the currency when you have the reserve currency. And what's it done? Well, it's sending gold skyrocketing because everybody wants to get out of the dollar now because they know if the United States gets upset with them, they'll weaponize it against them and steal all their stuff like we're doing with Russia, right? That's just stupid. But well, you got stupid people running the country. We got to accept that. I don't want to lay into them too much, but they're awfully naive as to what their policies are and what the effect will be. But anyways, it's helped my gold a lot. Send it up $1,000 every coin I have stacked and send silver following right up with it. But this gentleman, he's telling me we're going to plunge. It's going to plunge. Get out, Tall Mike, get out. And he may be right. We may have a pullback, right? But I don't see the plunge coming. Not when I understand, which he does not understand, who is the buyer. The buyer is the central bank. The buyer is not me and you. If we're lucky, we have enough money to go buy some so we can ride on the coattails of the central banks, right? The central banks are buying it all because of our stupid policies of weaponizing the dollar. We had the meeting of the BRICS system this week, right? Okay, so the BRICS, that's Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, right? And there's like 30 other countries. Anyways, it's going to become 1/3 of the population of the world are going to go to the BRICS system. The BRIC is coming out with a unit. I don't think they'll come out with it this week. They met this week. We'll see what comes out of that. But anyways, it's called the unit. It's going to be backed by gold. 40%. Is that going to make gold go up or gold go down? When 1/3 of the world is using gold-backed unit, then I believe gold's going to go higher. But this gentleman's telling me it's going to plunge, Tall Mike. You got to get out. You got to get out. Silver's going to tank. We're going to be back at $3. Oh, how I wish he were right, because I got a lot of dry powder still that I want to deploy. And I don't like deploying it at $3,000 gold. I really don't. But I do think gold's going to hit 5,000, going to hit 10,000. Because why? Because of our stupid policies. People are going to get away from our currency because our currency, they can see it. You can see it. Go to the grocery store, man. It's becoming worthless. I just went to the grocery store the other day. I was literally shocked. Oh, my goodness. I went to an expensive grocery store, like one of those Whole Foods. Normally I shop at the Lucky or the Safeway grocery store, but you go to the Whole Food or the Sprouts and man, those prices get high. They get high real quick because that's real food, right? And that real food is getting really expensive. Okay, let's talk about the housing market now a little bit. Okay, just a quick take on this, right? Okay, so the article comes out yesterday. Existing home sales plunge. They plunged existing home sales. 14-year low, right? Okay, nobody's buying a home, right? Now, this is interesting. You see, what I don't understand is why all the delay. This is September numbers are just coming out as we're going in, getting ready to go into November, and we're just getting the September numbers, right? So September numbers plunge, like down 4%, 4% down in the amount of existing home sales. Everything's frozen up. But here's the thing. You see, this is still the good numbers. The bad numbers are not going to come out till the end of next month, right around December. You're going to see some horrific numbers. Now, why is that, Tall Mike? Well, we're still in the good times, right? You see, the ones that closed in September, they were sold in August. Takes about 30 days, sometimes takes 60 days. So they were either sold in July, August, but they weren't sold in September. They closed in September. So they're reporting really on August sales that closed in September. What did we have in August? We still had buyer brokers. Buyers could still find a broker to help them out. And those buyer brokers would bring the offers to get the home sold. Look, I've got boots on the ground, been a broker for like ever, over 40 years, right? So anyway, back in August, we still had buyer brokers would bring the offers in. We don't have buyer brokers anymore. They can't get paid. So they left the business. They become seller brokers. Some of them gotten out of the business. Very good for me. I hope they all go away. I want to be the last man standing. Actually, I don't. I got too much work already as it is. But anyways, so the buyer broker was still in business in August. Well, now he's out of business, right? So you wait till next month. If you think it was slow and they say it plunged right to a 14-year low, you ain't seen nothing yet. These numbers are going to just free fall. And when they free fall, you see, this is just sales volume. This is just sales volume. Now, just use some common sense here, right? When things are frozen up, right? Sales volume, okay, and inventory is continuing to come on the market. We're up about 40% in inventory year over year, and things are just sitting there. What happens to prices? Oh, they go up, Tall Mike. Real estate, they always go, no, they don't. They don't. They're going to be plunging. They're going to be plunging right along with the number of sales. People are going to get out at any price once the dam breaks, I'm telling you. But Mike, I got 2.8%. I'm locked in. And that's great, but you got a mortgage on there, right? And when that thing drops 50% and you're underwater and the house next door sold for 50% of where your loan value is, are you going to be happy with your 2.8%? I don't think so. Are you going to continue to pay your 2.8%? Only if you're a fool. Otherwise, you hand the keys back to the bank and you buy the one next door to the guy that just bought the one next door. This is just my take, but these numbers are going to come tumbling down. The numbers are going to be horrific. Yes, you got to wait till December to hear these numbers, but once you wait till then, you're going to get some sellers that are going to start to panic out. They're going to panic out of this market. They're going to FOMO out, fear of missing out and getting out. This is just my take. I'm Tall Mike. You like this stuff? Give me the thumbs up. Why not? But punch that subscribe button. Get out there, everybody. We made it to the weekend. Have a great weekend. We'll talk again next week. Bye-bye now.